Oh, hi there. Tonight I wanted to make a video talking about a subject which is kind of awkward. Um, it shouldn't be, but it is. Another one. Um, okay, here's the scoop. Most hockey players in today's age are having great difficulty having a relaxed relationship with a girlfriend, for example. Um, I just did a quick scroll on the internet, as I do with all my research, because that's the simplest way to do it. Um, and there was one from the Sportster, one in they'd show one that was a father, and then one who was a bachelor and everything. Uh, and they had their little countdown, things like that. And the ones they labeled as bachelors, it's like, aren't they, a little bit young to even be talking about that? Like, I mean, they mentioned Nathan McKinnon. Uh, they mentioned Michael Del Zotto. He's 28, so he's actually considered a little bit on the older side. Seth Jones. Um, who's another one? Just give me a second here. Uh, PK Subban, but he's black, so he can get away with that. Johnny Gaudreau, he's only 25 years old, and it's like, why are these people even on this list? Like, as bachelors. I mean, they should be bachelors, but it's like, like why is this even a topic at this point in their career? And I'm leaving out hockey players that have a dude in the picture with them, um, simply because there's something about that that's kind of awkward when you're explaining that you're a bachelor and there's, the picture of you and there's a picture of you with a dude. And I know these young guys, they don't really have a choice. I mean, there isn't anything wrong with, hanging out with your buds. It's one of those things. As soon as you start making money, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be successful in that regard. There will always be some woman after you, mostly to steal your money, if for no other reason. Um, and it's like these things are, it's really awkward because the dynamics of being famous person, whether on a hockey team or most certainly in Hollywood or whatever, has changed. And you don't want to be the bad guy and be mean to everyone. But on the other hand, you gotta respect yourself and go about doing things your own way because there'll be plenty of women who will try to attach themselves to you. And what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to tank your career, your eligibility for having a successful sex life? And that doesn't mean the first one you go with you're stuck with, necessarily. Anyway, I mean, there's no reason you couldn't be friends with them or something. But if they're going to stymie your career before it even starts, then obviously there's an issue there, and it is a very very awkward thing to discuss. It has got to do everything with Eric Carlson, that whole scene where it becomes like a big drama fest, and it's like, no, that's, not really a cool story or anything like that. It's a bunch of, awkward, cringeworthy stuff that's like, there's a reason it's not talked about in detail with the general public. And it is quite the embarrassing thing for males who are trying to get through in life. and have relationships here and there, and think of it from a relaxed point of view, because it's almost like there's they can handle their stress better on the ice and playing the game of hockey like they're supposed to. And the chicks that are surrounding them, which are essentially groupies, cannot handle their stress properly, and essentially it becomes like a tribal Amazon type thing. And there are plenty of women who get interested in certain guys, and the dude may not necessarily like these particular women, or even have heard of them before, probably. They kind of, are there for the longest time. They'll pretend like they're not, and then somehow they'll get introduced, and it's all like, oh, wow, you know, this is nice. I get to meet a new person, and really it's someone who's been hanging around for a long time, and they know everything about you, and it's, kind of creepy. Um, no getting around that. That's for damn sure. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, especially, I mean, theoretically, even I am a hockey player because I'm, wearing jerseys, and I'm planning on wholesaling jerseys as well and benefiting the jersey production. So I'm a different type of hockey player, but don't hate the player, hate the game, man. That's what I got to say. And it's like, what is the outsee of this? Like, how do you avoid this particular predicament where there is something that it has focused itself on you because you're worth a bit of money? Maybe you're handsome, maybe you're intelligent, the best. I mean, these are all characteristics I have. And, I'm 32 years of age, and I cannot walk out the door and, have a burlap sack like uh, thrown on me, and I, end up in some little town which is more like a prison than actually, me actually, spreading my wings and learning how to fly, I suppose. Uh, I don't know. It's like, how did society turn out like this? Like, how did this problem come about? Like, should it, be like relaxed and things like that? Like, why? Uh, I think part of the reason is it's the wage gap, and the fact is there are a lot of people who aren't very attractive and don't have much going for them. They happen to be in a particular position where they can slow down the works, where like hockey players aren't as good as they should be because there's some malfunctions on what's going on. And it's like a totally embarrassing subject, and it's like not even funny. And like sometimes women, because they've had to work to go after the guy they liked, they take it out on the guy afterwards too. It's like, but in like a discreet way, they may treat him like they're like the dude's a total fucking idiot, doesn't know what's going on, and she'll mess around with him, and he won't even know about it. Um, that would make him a cuckold. I don't think many NHL players are like that. Um, like you gotta be, cognizant of the fact that there are people conspiring against you, whether it's malicious in nature or not. If you somehow climb the echelons and make it into the NHL. Um, and it's a bunch of bullshit when you go, well, I wouldn't mind having a girlfriend, and it's a solid girlfriend for the most part, because it's like if you're worth that kind of money, after a week, people start talking like she's your wife or something, and it's like, no, I only recently met her. That doesn't mean anything, and I'll go with her a while, and we'll see how things go. Uh, except it's like as soon as you're worth money and you're not bad looking, it's like all the most horrible things happen. And it's in the reverse when goes to women who are worth a lot of money. They are they go with so many men, and it's so disgusting because they don't really have a choice. They lose their free will at that point because of how much money they're worth. I'm wearing a Taylor Hall New Jersey Devils jersey, and it says on the internet anyway. I don't know if it's on and off or it's just a bogus story or what, but evidently Taylor Hall's girlfriend is Selena Gomez. I would never want to go with Selena Gomez. I don't care how much money she's worth. I don't care how pretty she looks in certain lights. She is dirty. Very, very, very dirty. And, that may not even be to Taylor Hall's liking. He may not actually, like, he might not even want to be rude about the situation, but it's like, no, I don't. If I were in his position, I would not want to, have the most disgusting looking whore having, interest in me and actually going out of their way to cause problems, like scaring off all the normal girls and, that kind of problem. It's counterproductive and it's insane. It really is. And there is no good way of explaining this. I mean, right now, as it were, as an involuntary celibate to whatever it means to some people, um, that means like very minimal contact with women. And as a matter of fact, it also means no meaningful conversation with anybody. Uh, so that also means that, for me, for example, I live in a bubble and it's very small, so it's very hard for me to get to meet people. And, um, like you don't want to be the bad guy. Like it's not necessary to be mean, but it's like you have to respect yourself and hope that people respect you or around you and don't start making decisions you wouldn't agree with. I have said that in previous cult of personality videos where it's like the crowd that's around you blocks messages you from hearing them. Um, that you would rather have heard because of their own interest. Um, and what if you're surrounded by nothing but slags, for example? I don't believe I am, but within what I like to think as my cult of personality, there most certainly are women and men too that I would prefer were not there. Simply because they don't have my best interest in mind, evidently because of my situation, and some of them have been around since the beginning and have been malicious for a very long time and don't really deserve to be there, in my opinion, based on what little I know, because I've been living in a bubble for many years. I've been cognizant of that problem for a long time. And, there wasn't anything I could do about it. You can't do anything about it when everyone's stonewalling around you. And these episodes of drama, it's like, sweet Mary and Joseph. Uh, it's like seriously, like how did this happen? Like it shouldn't be a major factor in the National Hockey League, but it is. And it's like, can't anyone relax and go, well, think about it later kind of attitude? Um, evidently not. I mean, I realize women have a shorter expiration date as far as fertility goes. That's understandable. However, you know, uh, for myself exactly, I'm 32 years of age and I've not been with a woman. I've never had a proper girlfriend. I've hardly even had a kiss and cuddle. And it's like, no, I'm not walking out into the world and being told what to do or who to go with. Because, if you're a pushover and you just let these people do these sort of things to you, then, you're not in charge of your own life. And, people make decisions that you're not going to agree with. Like they're not going to have any respect for you if you don't stand up for yourself. And that's the same thing with hockey players. And, I'm not exactly attaching myself to the National Hockey League, although I am because I'm wearing their jerseys and I'm talking about the Hockey League and I'm using them as an example of what the problem is. But it appears to be that way with any successful male, is that women gather around them and cause problems. And they do this with the help of homosexuals, men that have qualities that do not make them too terribly successful, whatever it is. Maybe they can't handle their money, maybe they're not very good looking, maybe they're stupid, maybe all of the above, whatever. The problem is, all these different types of people like to contribute to the friggin' problem. And, you have to think of a psychological reason as to get out of these sort of problems. I mean, you get the Brad Marchands who are, he's a bisexual. I mean, he licks faces on the screen every now and then, although he hasn't done that for a while, which is a good thing. Uh, it's, that was his out. And, that's obviously not an out I want to do. I want to, think of a logical prospect of getting out of this problem. And that to me does not sound like a logical one. Some people like to do I don't know what the word you'd use to describe it is or the phrase, but I would think it would be like the black and dash, where they throw a black guy in there and then they run off like PK Subban or something like that. And, I'm not keen on that either. That doesn't sound like a good option to me. I mean, their business is their business, but I don't want them to make it my business. Me being who I am and everything I stand for. So those are two options that, are out the window. And I had mentioned, heterosexual, non-whiny, um, Starscream type character. And I think that I may actually be a type of a Starscream. Um, like essentially, um, my voice, as I said in the other video, amplifies, and somebody of some importance hears it, and it gets relayed, and where it gets relayed to, I have no idea, but somebody of authority, because there's no way I'd be in this bubble otherwise. And, like I've done things to, test the water. Like I I actually wore a Florida Panthers jersey around Vancouver for like 2 days, and it's like not one person said a friggin' word, and it's like, okay, the world's insane. That's all there is to it. I mean, I could handle a heckle or a jeer or something like that, or someone going, "Hey, what are you doing wearing that?" And it's like, it didn't happen. Nobody said a friggin' thing. uh, Got to get more Claritin. I ran out of them. Anyway, you know, and also, you get characters. Well, he's a bisexual as well, named Ryan Reynolds. He played Deadpool, and his girlfriend was in that movie was particularly aggressive with him. And the thing is, if women, there's some women who, if they work very hard because they're interested in a guy, whether the guy even knows they exist or not, and they get placed in a position where the guy's going to move on, sometimes they like to be rough about it. And in that movie, the woman, came around and had a strap on, and it's like, no, that's not happening to this particular handsome man who wants to be successful in the world. I mean, that was the route that Ryan Reynolds went down. That's his business. That's not what I agree with. And plus, I think it looks, I think it would look ugly on me as well. I don't think it would work. And I don't think I'd cooperate. I'm sure I could figure a way out of that problem. And these are all things that I don't like enjoy talking about. This is like the cringe, the dirty, the filthy, the unthinkable sort of stuff that's associated with making money and being in the spotlight and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't want to deal with this problem. I want it to go away. And I mean, like, actually go away. And, like, chicks that I do like, I want to be nice to them and, it'd be casual and stuff. Um, However, not everyone seems to agree with that because here I am in limbo in my bubble still. And it's like, what in the, like, how does this even happen to people, yo? Are we not allowed to be successful anymore? Are we not allowed to think of new ideas and, be inventive? Are we not allowed to do those things anymore without, attracting all the evil in the world? Oh, that's so horrible. Why do people have to be like that? How did it even turn out this way? Um, so yeah, not to sound like a douchebag about it, because obviously I haven't seen too much of it firsthand, but oh yeah, oh no, man, no, no, no. Like, why is Nathan McKinnon on that bachelor list? He's like, I don't know how old it is. He's like 23, 25, something like that. And it's like, that's not the correct terminology for someone that age. They're in their mid 20s. They should be carefree and be there to play the sport, not be hampered down by, women that like them too much and they hardly even know who they are. Um, Rest assured, a fellow like myself is going to figure out a way around this because, no, I'm not being passed around like a doobie. Uh, that is not happening. And, some guys make it a point to make themselves disgusting looking so that women are less attracted to them. However, it doesn't really work sometimes when they go, well, they'll dust you off and, get you new clothes and, make you wash your hair every day and that kind of thing. Um, I mean, I actually don't want to do that, but there are some parts of my body I've really got to work out because the flip side of that is if they figure if they can't have you and no one will, they'll take pot shots at you. They'll embarrass you in some way, and everyone will laugh, and it's like, was that really necessary? And it's like they don't actually care. They could still go with you afterwards, but at the time being, it's like, why? Why does it have to be this way? Why can't I, not really think too, hard about things? Like why can't things be simpler, like an olden time or something like that? Like back in the 70s or something like that before I was born. I wouldn't even know. But obviously, I don't think they had these kind of problems back then. These are all first world problems, but they are problems nonetheless. And, a lot of people don't know it or don't want to accept it, and most certainly would never say so on social media. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. These people that acclimatize themselves around a particular individual for the purpose of cult of personality because they want to steal their money and because they want to set them up with, I don't know, some woman or whatever. A lot of them are actually perverts. I'm not going to say all of them are, but a lot of them are. And it's like that's the creepiest thing in the world. And I'm making this video on YouTube where I'm talking about it. I have no idea who's watching this video. I have no idea at all. I mean, I don't care. I've made so many videos. I can talk on YouTube and I'm not bothered by it. And as my situation changes, hopefully when my sore throat starts to get better, which it is actually, this time for real. Hopefully, I can learn and adapt quickly enough so that it can be a seamless transition into more of a normal atmosphere. And hopefully, there's not too many crazy people around because right now, I've observed some things that I go, okay, that's kind of insane. And this is from what little information I have. And it's like, there must be a better way of doing things. And right now, I have no idea what that is. I have to play by ear. And, yeah, we'll wait and see. See what's in the winds what's going on. And if I have anything to do with it, it's gonna be a raunchy fart. That's what it's gonna be. Like a really, like humiliating society type of fart. Which is, a joke that Terrence and Phillip do things, but whatever. Anyway, I think I've talked about this particular predicament and given it more attention than it deserves. I mean, obviously, I want women around, but like, I don't want like all their baggage and things like that. I don't want to, have a kiss and cuddle with a chick, and then next thing they're, expecting to like move in with me or something like that. It's like, no, we're not doing that. Um, Anyway, yeah, I guess we'll figure this problem out later. Anyway, talk to you people later. Have a good one.